I never really know how to stop telling the story of my life. It feels too big and too scattered, like a map drawn in opposite directions. I have lived a beautiful life with ugly corners, soft moments wrapped in sharp ones. Everything has always been extreme with me, either incredibly good or painfully bad. There is never much in between. And because of that, I learned how to show only the polished version, the version that makes people assume I'm doing better than average, that I'm floating above everyone, living good, chilling, and untouched. They see all the glow, but not the burn behind it. Life is better right now. Not perfect, not smooth, but better. I can feel something shifting inside me, like my internal reality is already healed, already ahead, and I'm just waiting for the outside world to catch up. That waiting is the hardest part. It's been very exhausting. It's been disappointing more times than I can count. I met all kinds of people, but everyone seems to be too wrapped up in their own life to truly notice anyone else. Real friends, real connections, it's rare. Rarer than I ever imagined. And yet somehow I managed anyway to navigate through the madness. I've been lucky in certain ways. A pretty young woman, I got nice hair, soft skin, light complexion, and whether I like it or not, my beauty has opened doors when everything else was closing, and I've gotten out of situations because of the way I look, because of my charm, because sometimes that was the only advantage I had. And even then, I refused to cross the line of my values, and I survived without betraying myself. So maybe this is where I begin, not with a perfect first chapter, but with the truth. My life has been chaotic, but blessed, bright, and bruised. And I'm still learning how to hold all of that at once. I always been the kind of person you can spot from far away. There's something about me that stands out even when I'm not trying. And I felt that difference early, long before I understood it. As a kid, it didn't feel special. It felt like something was off. Not really sick exactly, but wrong in a way I couldn't explain. I knew I wasn't meant for the normal life, not meant to work a regular job, and not meant to blend in. And I just didn't know exactly how, but I know something inside me carried something different. Back then, I wasn't the pretty girl. I was very smart, I was heavier, I was unsure of myself, and full of quiet self-doubt. And I was intelligent at school. People started calling me Einstein. I actually started calling that myself, and then everybody complied. And I just never knew what to do in social situations. I would solve anything on paper, but I froze when it came to people. Affection always felt foreign to me. Watching girls hug each other, say I love you, or hold hands like it was nothing, that felt like another word for me. If someone cried next to me, I felt this wave of panic. Like I suddenly had to perform emotions I didn't know how to show. So I would just give an awkward shoulder tap and be like, it's gonna be alright, even if I cared deeply inside. My body just didn't know how to translate what my heart felt. What's strange is that people were always drawn to me anyway, so it's not that I never had friends at all. It's just that I didn't know how to make friends or attract anyone socially, but they still gravitated toward me. And maybe because I was different, maybe because there is something in me that people feel before I say anything. So, not all the time, but I had good friendships. But they came to me more than I went to them. Affection with my family was the same. My parents are amazing. They gave us everything, protected us, raised us with love. But I still wasn't the child who hugged or kissed anyone. And overall in my family wasn't something that frequent anyway. And if someone kissed my cheek, I would wipe it instantly. Not because I didn't care, but I don't know. I care too much. And I've always felt so deeply that showing it felt dangerous. Like if I let everything out, would it be too much? Or maybe it wouldn't be received on the way I needed. And maybe hiding my emotions was my way of keeping them safe. So growing up, I wasn't social, confident, or expressive. I wasn't used to approaching people or letting them close. Now I'm better, much better, but that quiet, protective part of me is still there. And for now, that's part of who I am. The reason I was thinking I was healed is because I've been doing the inner work, manifestation, frequencies, quantum stuff, morphic fields. All of it made me lighter than I ever did in the past. There was a time when I had the urge to cry almost every day without even knowing why. I would wait until I was alone and let everything fall out of me. Sometimes the smallest thing would trigger it. I would be scrolling on social media or watching a movie, and if something was too beautiful or too pure, the emotions would overflow. And I will cry because it felt good. But then, the release never stayed clean. The moment the tears felt good, then they also opened another door, and then you start thinking why I don't have that good, and behind that door, there were all the old memories, all the questions, all the pain I thought I outgrew. So, 1 second I was crying because the scene on the screen was touching, the next I was crying because my past walked back into the room like it never left. I spent months like that, emotional, overwhelmed, trying to figure out where all these tears were coming from. And I always been sensitive in a deep, almost painful way. If someone I love hurts me or raises their voice, I feel it physically. My chest burns, my throat triggers, and my eyes feels instantly. I try to swallow it down because showing it feels too raw and too revealing. When I don't feel safe enough to be vulnerable, all that hurt flips into anger. So instead of crying, I get loud. Instead of feeling small, I lash out. It's easier to be furious than fragile. So the sadness turns into madness. and the hurt turns into sharp words I don't even mean. It's just self-defense dressed as aggression. I thought I was healed because I stopped crying every day. I thought the self-love, the confidence, the inner work meant I made it. And I do love myself deeply. I truly believe I'm strong and smart and worthy, not in an ego way, but in a way everyone should feel about themselves. I know sometimes I dip, lose the feeling for a moment, but I always come back to myself. I always remember who I am, or at least who I'm becoming. But recently I realized that the reason I wasn't crying wasn't because I was healed. It was because I was distracted. I thought I found love. I thought business was good. I thought everything was finally real and stable, and that illusion kept me busy enough to ignore the parts of me still hurting. The moment the truth showed itself, everything inside came back up. The pain, the confusion, the unfinished work. And that's when I understood I'm not done. I still have pieces to face, stories to tell, parts of myself I've been hiding for too long. I'm tired of being invisible in my own life. I'm meant to be seen, I'm meant to be felt, I'm meant to be experienced. I still don't know what part of my life carries the deepest wound. Maybe it's a bundle of everything, layers stacked on top of each other, or maybe some moments cut deeper than I'm willing to admit. I never sat down and asked myself what hurts the most or what hurts the least. I just lived through it, surviving each storm without naming it. All I know is there were times when the world wasn't just falling apart, it was already on the ground, shattered, and I was still trying to pretend I was fine. I've gone through physical pain that left marks, emotional pain that left deeper ones, betrayal from people I trusted, betrayal from the system that was supposed to protect me, moments where I had nothing, no resources, and no safety net. I've fallen in love with the wrong people, given chances to people who didn't deserve them, done stupid things trying to escape myself, wasted time, wasted years, lost opportunities I will never get back. And I experienced loneliness that felt like punishment, nights where I couldn't sleep because my mind wouldn't stop replaying the same memories, days where I hated myself for not knowing better and for not fighting harder, for trusting too easily or not trusting enough. I've carried guilt that wasn't mine, responsibilities I shouldn't have had, pressure that made me numb. I've been misunderstood, underestimated, judged before being known. I've stayed silent when I should have screamed, stayed in places I should have ran from, loved people who broke me and pushed away people who cared. I had moments where I felt abandoned even when I wasn't alone, moments where I felt like I didn't belong anywhere, and moments where I questioned why I even exist, why life felt like one test after another with no break. Maybe the deepest pain isn't one thing, maybe it's the accumulation, the weight of everything I've been holding without ever letting myself put it down. Maybe the real hurt is realizing how long I kept going while breaking in silence. A secret. But the thing that sits underneath everything, the real root of it all, is the fact that I've always been alone with myself, alone with my mind, with my thoughts that run too deep, with my goals that feel bigger than me, with my spontaneity that pushes me into places I'm not always ready for. I never asked anyone for advice, I never looked for guidance. I just followed my own mind, even when it was chaotic, even when it was loud, and even when it was tired. So, in a way, I'm the cause of everything. Every good thing, every bad thing, every moment of chaos, every miracle that saved me. There were so many times I should have chilled, paused, breathed, waited, but instead I decided to move, to act, to jump, to take the risk or leap or the escape without thinking twice. Sometimes that made my life beautiful, sometimes it made it painful, but it always came back to me choosing, me reacting, me trusting myself even when I wasn't stable, me running with my emotions, my impulses, and my dreams. I am the storm and the calm, the reason I survived and the reason I suffered. I'm 26 right now, and for someone my age, I have seen a lot. I traveled almost all over Europe, many states in the United States, the Emirates, and some parts of Africa, and I'm going to see much more. I've seen the world, met so many people, experienced so much. I've stayed in the best hotels, sailed on yachts, tasted the finer things in life. But I also seen the harsh, the painful, the difficult, the disgusting actually. Every experience shaped me in some way. Every place taught me something. Some felt like vacations, some felt like nightmares. Most of the time I was by myself, walking streets and navigating cities alone, and that's how I know I'm protected. I wouldn't have been able to survive all of that without something guiding me. I traveled the world before I even healed myself. I did it broken, hopeful, confused, spontaneous, and unprepared. And still every experience was a lesson, good or bad. Every place, every person, every moment meant something. At the end of the day, I'm still here, alive and good. I know the best is yet to come. I'm meant to be international, to inspire, to wake people up, to help them remember the power of their mind, their heart, their love, the universe, and source, God. I went through everything I went through to gain wisdom and depth to carry a message strong enough to change lives. It hurt, but it found me, and this is only the beginning.